Recently, Sonam Wangchuk, a renowned Indian engineer, innovator and education reformer from Ladakh, was released from Jodhpur jail after 6 months of detention. He was detained under the National Security Act in September 2025 after protests in Leh, which led to clashes that left 4 dead. He and over 120 activists marched towards New Delhi as part of a Padyatra, and they were detained near the Sindhu border during that attempt. The government accused him of making provocative speeches that incited violence, and his NGO's license was revoked. Surprisingly, the decision came just 3 days before the next hearing in Supreme Court on the habeas corpus petition filed by Wangchuk's wife challenging his imprisonment. Sonam Wangchuk's wife, Gitanjali J. Angmo, also spoke out after his detention, saying they had not been given a copy of his detention order. National Security Act is a preventive detention law in India. It allows the government to detain a person without a formal charge or trial for up to a year or more in some cases, if they believe that person poses a threat to national security or public order. While Wangchuk was protesting to draw attention to demands of the people of Ladakh, after Ladakh was made a union territory, he and many residents fear a loss of political autonomy and safeguards. He was calling for greater constitutional protections for Ladakh, better representation, and more development focus from the central government. His protest was aimed at making sure Ladakh's unique needs aren't overlooked in the new political arrangement. Later, some officials also mentioned Pakistani links, which are under investigation, but these were claims, not proven charges. Even politicians publicly said Wangchuk is not a terrorist. Even if we believe the narrative of him being anti-national, why was he released just 3 days before the Supreme Court hearing? First, the people in the government want us to believe whatever they did was absolutely right because he is an anti-national. Then when it's time for some real measures, they step back, or we can say hide the truth. Because as I mentioned earlier, he was released 3 days before the hearing of habeas corpus that his wife filed following his arrest. Do we not want to know what's really going on? Or the people in power are trying to hide something? Because obviously, if the government was right, they should have stepped forward and would have stood for the action they took. But this release sounds very fishy. What we want is the peace for the citizens of Ladakh, not allegations which you first scream out loud, and when it's time to prove them, you step back.